Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This week's Wargaming terrain tutorial is a really fun one, a really great outcome. We're going to be building a battle mat for the table. So this is going to be a really small one, so this was my test one for this project. I do have plans for some larger ones for Star Wars Legion and 40k down the track. But this video today, I just wanted to test out this process, make sure it worked, and I was absolutely stoked with the outcome. So this battle mat's just 20 inches by 20 inches, so a nice small one to practice on. Perfect for my Walking Dead board game. I hope you enjoy this one. It's really simple to do, and as you'll see, the materials are extremely cheap as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and if you'd like to support the channel and me to make more of these videos and better videos in the future, please jump on over to my Patreon. I will put a link to it in the description below. I'd really appreciate your support. It really does help me get the materials I need to keep doing these videos. So that said, let's get started. Alright guys, so for this project today we're going to be using some pretty basic materials, as I mentioned. The most important thing you want to get, and probably the most expensive of this project, is going to be this plastic backdrop sheet. Now I've got quite a large one here. You certainly don't need to buy the large one. Just keep an eye on which one you need for the size of the battle mat you want. I'm planning on a couple more battle mats down the track here, so I've bought the larger size, and I'm just going to roughly cut this, allowing myself a few extra inches on both sides that I need here. So my battle mat's going to be 20 inches by 20 inches, and I'm roughly cutting a 24 by 24 square here. Now it doesn't have to be perfect cuts. We're going to trim this all up at the end of the build. So there are creases in this, as you see, so good idea to probably get your iron out and give this a bit of an iron just to straighten out some of those creases. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you are getting this a little bit tidied up. Get some of those bumps and creases out before you start the build. Just make it a little bit easier down the track, and it prevents any sort of risk of having bubbles or creases sort of set into the battle mat when you're finished. Now I'm just using a square here to measure and draw out the 20 by 20 square that I need for this battle mat at the end. Like I said, I've got a couple of inches on each end of this mat here, just to allow me to tape it down. I'm just going to go around here with a pen and draw out these lines and make sure I've got a nice square 20 by 20 drawn out on this battle mat. So when it comes to taping it down, I'm going to use these lines as a guide and tape this down right to those lines, so that when I do cut it out, it will be the finished battle mat. I won't need to do any other trimming from that. So now when you're taping this down, you want to make sure you've got a high tack sticky tape or masking tape. So painter's tape here is probably not going to work the best. What you will want to do is get yourself some nice thick packing tape. Make sure you clean the surface where you're going to lay down this mat for applying the materials to it for the finished product. Now, at this point, we are stretching it out a little bit as we tape this down, but as you'll see in a moment, I'm going to actually pull up some of this tape and give it another stretch to make sure that this canvas is nice and flat before we finish. So once you've got this tape down, making sure that you do have that tape lined up pretty well with those edges of that square we drew on earlier. Give it a bit of a stretch out to try and get as many bumps out of this as you can, and we'll be just about ready to start making up our mix. So again, you can make these battle mats at any size you like. You just want to make sure that the surface you're using is fairly flat, and because we've got that tape all around the edges, it does allow us to be a little bit messy without making too much of a mess on this tabletop. You could probably do this on a garage floor, so long as the surface you're using is fairly flat and clean. I'm sure this will work fine. So that high tack masking tape that I've got there, that's going to hold overnight. It's not going to peel up, and it should be fine. Now for this process, we're going to use an old plastic container spreader, which is the yellow thing there, some black paint, a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and also this really cheap acrylic gap filler. So this stuff is, it's about $2 a tube. Honestly, this gun that I've got here to get this acrylic out is actually really cheap. It cost me $2.50, so it shouldn't be too much trouble picking up these materials nice and cheap. Probably the most expensive thing here will be the canvas and the isopropyl alcohol. Now for this build, I used an entire tube of that acrylic gap filler. In hindsight, that was way too much. I could have probably almost made 2 of these mats using that much acrylic, but this was my first go at this, so I wasn't too sure how much to use. So in that case, it is better to use a little bit more than less, so you don't have to do a second batch to finish the project. So with that gap filler in that container, I'm going to add a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. It's a little bit of black paint, as you see, and I'm also going to add in some sand into this build as well. So the sand here will just give it a little bit of an extra texture. This is really fine sand. I'm pretty sure you can get away with something a little bit probably more coarser than the one I've used here, but this still worked fine. And mixing this up, it did get a little bit messy. I probably could have got a bigger container to put this all in to mix it up, but it just went fine. Now you will probably find that adding a little bit of extra isopropyl alcohol as you go is going to be helpful. This will just help thin down the acrylic a little bit, makes mixing it a little bit easier. It does get a bit messy, I will say, but it does make it a little bit easier to sort of spread around and mix it up as well. So you can see here with that black paint in it, it's actually given us pretty good color as well. So if you're going for a tarmac look, this would probably be a pretty good base to start on. You could add a different color, I'm sure, to get a different effect if you wanted to, but most of this is going to be fairly heavily painted over, I guess, at the end. So in total, I used around about 1/4 cup, I would say, of isopropyl alcohol in this. So not a great lot. It was just a few extra little splashes in there as I mixed it all in to make sure that it was going to spread nice and easily. It takes about 5 minutes, I guess, to get this mixed up to this point. So not a lot of time here, but you do want to make sure that you do scrape the bottom and the sides of this as you're mixing to make sure you don't have any straight up acrylic left in there, because it will stand out quite a bit. Now with this spreader, again, I bought this one new, so it was only a couple of dollars. You know, I think they use these for grout and stuff like that, so you should be able to find this at the hardware store fairly simply. It doesn't have to be as big a spreader as what I've got here, but this one worked perfectly. Now you can see there I'm scooping it out. It's quite thick on there at the moment. I would say 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 of an inch probably, and I'm gonna actually realize fairly soon that I've got way too much on there. So it's not a bad idea though to spread this on quite thick first and then take it back as you need to. So you'll see here as I get this all moved around that exposed canvas, it's going to be just the perfect amount. So I've nearly used all of what was in that container, but at this point here I realize that it is quite thick. As I'm scraping this to get it nice and smooth and flat, I'm actually taking quite a bit off this. Now you do want to have a bit of a thickness to this acrylic mix as it's going on, because you really don't want that canvas texture to be showing through it all, but I think you'll see as you go through that it's hard to tell what's too thick, but you will notice that as soon as it gets too thin, you'll be able to see that texture of that canvas. So don't be afraid to leave a little bit extra on there if you need to, and don't be too worried if you get a few lines in here. So I will show you very shortly how you can sort of get this a little bit tidied up. You could even add textures to this, so if you do have texture rollers or anything like that, you could certainly use those at this point, and it should dry with those textures in place. Now for me, all I'm going to do here is get an old rag, a fairly smooth one. I have sprayed that rag with some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm also just spraying each piece before I sort of pat it down a little bit. This just helps get rid of any sort of lines that I've left in there from spreading this acrylic mix. Or using the isopropyl alcohol actually stops it from sticking. So as soon as you get some of this acrylic to kind of grab onto that rag, any subsequent sort of pressing down will put divots into the acrylic mix. So it's a good idea to, if you've got a spray bottle, just give everything a bit of a spray as you sort of pat this down. Again, if you're using texture rollers or something else to add texture, a good idea to get some isopropyl alcohol and make sure that you coat either the rag, the roller, or the acrylic before you touch it. Now you can see there I cleaned up that spreader. You want to make sure you give that a nice wash with water when you're finished. You don't want this stuff drying on there. It will make it a lot harder to clean this up after the fact. So now once that acrylic's dried, I've left this for a day and it has perfectly dried. It's all nice. I'm just hitting this now with a few sprays of grey primer. Now I do want a grassy section on the side of this Battlemat, so I have gone in with the only can of green spray paint I had on hand, which looks like a neon green. It's super bright and way too much, but it's fine. I'll be able to pare this back as I need to a little bit later. Now to get some pretty clear lines, I'm making a roadway here as you would have seen at the start of the video, so I'm just trying to find whatever I can here to mask this up a little bit. Using spray cans here, it gets really messy, so you will tend to have a bit of overspray even with masking. So you can use either paper or a piece of timber as I've used, whatever you need to kind of mask off some of these sections. You'll notice when I go in to do the white here, it does overspray quite a bit. That's just simply because I'm using a rattle can for these lines and stuff. You could certainly stipple these lines on here with just a paintbrush. You don't need to sort of go ahead and spray can these in at all. I was just looking for a quick way to get this done to make sure it was going to work out the way I wanted. I was really keen to peel this off the workbench and see what my results were. So here you can see I'm just masking out the lines for the roadway. I've just used 2 simple strips of masking tape there, and then just torn off some extra bits to put in there to mark out those lines. I'm putting some extra tape around the sides of this here just to make the masking go out a bit further. Like I said, trying to kind of prevent the overspray. But yeah, using a rattle can for this process, it's pretty hard to stop that overspray unless you mask off the entire rest of the board. It's not going to matter because, like I said, we're going to go back in and add some more details and a little bit more paint to this down the track. So a little bit of overspray didn't worry me too much, and you can't really notice it once it's all finished. So with that line, those lines marked out and painted in, you can see they come up really well straight away. You can see where that overspray line is on there as well. But like I said, it's not going to matter too much at the end of the day. Now, using this mask that I made for the broken lines, I'm actually going to reuse this for the straight lines on the edge of the road. All you've got to do here is just lay it back out where it was and move it to where you need it, and then just take off these little tabs that we've put in. Now, because it might look a bit messy on this at the moment, but just remember I do have that masking tape sort of cut into the acrylic base. So I will be sort of cutting this back to the 20 inches by 20 inches, so those messy edges won't show up. They'll be cut off at the end. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. You want to make sure that you do cover right to the edge of your 20 inch by 20 inch battle mat when you're putting down your acrylic. And it won't matter too much if you've got some messy edges or you miss a few bits towards the very edge, because like I said, we'll be cutting those out anyway. So here I'm reusing the mask again just to make sure that I've got lines on both sides of this road. Good idea probably would have been for me to make sure that I put that tab back in the middle before I moved it, just to make sure that the lines were going to be even on both sides of the road. And make sure you do measure each line and how far away it is from the center to make sure that you've got a pretty symmetrical looking lined road. So make sure that's all marked out the way you need it, and make sure you do those measurements, because if you miss it, it's going to look a bit funny towards the end if two lanes are different sizes. So here I'm just reusing that masking tape and the board again. I'm just hitting this with some grey primer on this side. So this is going to be a bit of sidewalk and car park on this side. Something I can kind of cover up with buildings as well, so just some simple grey primer. So we're just base coating at the moment here to get the general layout of what we want. We're not going for the finished products or, you know, the final paint job at this stage. We're going to cut this battle mat out, take it down to the hobby bench, and we're going to start adding some details and getting some more colours and layers in here. So I'm just going for basic base coats here with a rattle can. You could certainly use this as it is, but I'm going to go in and add a little bit more detail once I get this cut out. So you should be able to fairly easily see that 20 inch by 20 inch guide marks based on where we've laid those bits of masking tape down. So it does help if you've got your masking tape laid out longer than it should be, just so that you can sort of see where that all lines up. Cut it simply with a craft knife, a hobby knife, a box cutter, anything like that will cut through this stuff, no trouble at all. It's not difficult at all. There's no, you know, one or two passes with the knife was all it took. You can see here, as soon as I peel that off, we've got our 20 by 20 battle mat. It's got a little bit of weight to it, which is perfect. It feels really good. I've missed a small piece there, but that doesn't matter. It's plastic backed, so it's nice and clean. This thing rolls up really well straight out of the gate, so at this point everything's dry and it's all cut out to size, and this is perfect. This is exactly what we need. So now I've gone in and just started adding some details to this mat. So here I'm just adding some simple cracks. You would have seen me add these types of things onto the foam board that I've used in previous builds. It's exactly the same process, similar technique, only in this way I'm using a brush with some watered down grey paint and just going through and adding some random cracks to the roadway. Nothing too complicated with that at all. It's pretty simple. Now when it comes to the green here, I'm just going to go in and stipple some different shades around. I ended up finding out that this green was a little bit too bright and a little bit unrealistic for my board, so after I've done all these steps, I actually went back with another green, slightly dulled down with a bit of brown, and I've actually covered this a little bit more. Now that paint was actually a little bit transparent, so this stippling of these darker greens here actually still worked out fine because they were still showing through the second layer I put on there. Now here you can see I'm just adding a little bit of highlights and a few different colors here for some of these details. I'm just adding a little bit of more shading with my airbrush. Again, you could just stipple this on. You can see I've got green painter's tape there. That's just to help define that line a little bit. Using a stippling technique here would work just as well. I don't think you've got any sort of requirement to have an airbrush at this point. All I'm doing is just trying to add a little bit more definition to some of these lines. You can do this in a number of different ways. I just have the airbrush on hand, so I found that was quite an easy way to go. You can see there I'm adding a little bit more dark shades to some of this roadway as well. You don't need to be clean about this. Rattlecan would have done this as well. You can go over the white lines, it's not really going to matter at all. But all I'm really doing here is just adding a little bit more detail to some of these lines and trying to get a little bit more definition through here. So no need to be too clean or precise. This is all going to work out at the end. And again, you don't need an airbrush for this part of the process. Now here I'm going to show you how easy it is to use this mask and stippling technique to get the lines and the those gradients and definition that you want for without an airbrush. I've decided to make this side a bit of a car park with some lines on here, and you can see the stippling is working really well. So this is just a brush with some yellow paint I've got, and just stippling that through there, not being too clean or precise. You want to make sure you don't have any sort of regular patterns going on, but just stippling this through gives it the exact kind of look I was going for. After doing this, I kind of wish I'd done the same with the lines on the road, but it's fine. You could certainly go back and over those with a bit of a grey or something like that to get that same effect anyway. So that's pretty much that build taken care of. I'll show you a few more shots of it here. I'm really happy with this one. It turned out fantastic. I can't wait to make a few more of these. I will put them on my channel when I do, because I'm going to try out a few different things as well. I really appreciate you guys watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a go at it. If you've got any questions or comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll have another video out soon. Thanks everyone.